Okay, welcome back to The Process, where I take you through my process of making music. My name is Charles Taylor. Thank you for tuning in. Today is the first ever episode of what I'm calling Pick 6. I'm going to play the last 6 beats inside the MPC, and I'm going to pick one of them to finish engineering, mixing, mastering inside of Reaper. Today's episode, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Sean B for providing the inspiration for me to keep making music and keep going. Thank you for reaching out not too long ago. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so here we go. Here's beat number 1. It's called Reflections. There will be chapters inside of YouTube allowing you to skip back and forth between different beats. Which beat do you guys think I'm going to pick to finish on the next step? Here we go. So that's pretty much beat number 1 right there. And if this is working correctly, should be able to go like this. And turn these off, turn this on, turn that down. So that's beat number 1. I'm not really going to comment too much about these beats. They are what they are. Pretty well mediocre beats in my opinion. So we're going to move on. But nonetheless, I still want to finish at least one of them and release that one. So like I said, chapters to skip around if you don't want to hear the rambling in between the beats. But if you wanted to see the creation of these beats from the very beginning, you can follow on YouTube, and I try my best to live stream any beat making that I do. So you can see this is session, I think, 22. It's always a work in progress, and that's why I call this show The Process. You get to just see me go through my process of making music. So yeah, let's go on to the next beat, beat number 2, and this is called Amped Organ 2. Pretty well due to the synth that I was using to make this beat. So we got 2 different sequences, and we're going to start out with sequence number 1, working a bass line with some samples. FYI, if you're listening on a cell phone speaker, laptop speaker, those kind of things, you might not be able to hear the whole production because these are beats. These are not finished productions. They're not been mastered to be able to play on all different types of speakers. So grab your best pair of headphones, throw on the best pair of speakers you have if you are wanting to hear a better quality. So let's find out what's happening here. Oh, that's right, that's right. Silly me. Turned it down. All right, here we go. Cool, so that's beat number two. And yeah, I also have other social media stuff too. If you wanted to connect with me, the best way of doing that is through Discord. I'm always open to collaborations and stuff like that, so please definitely connect with me. You'll probably see the pop ups going on somewhere around there of the different social medias that I'm on. So, beat number three is called CPA Energy A. And we have a few different things here, so let's just have some fun and start like this. There we go.
Tripping like an instrumental, skipping. My mind's 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 tripping like an instrumental, skipping.
Awesome. So that was basically beat number three. Boom. And yeah, like you can see I'm playing around with different things as I'm playing these beats, and that's because nothing is like structured in a linear time frame. They're just beats that you can mess around with. If you're aware of how producing music works, at least for me, the way that the process goes is there's basically three or four stages of music producing. So number one to me is like the idea, the beat itself. And then number 2 is arguably either arrangement, getting the beats to play in a linear fashion, creating a storyline of start to finish sort of thing, or the engineering. That's basically 2 and 3. So all of these are stage number 1 beats. So stage number 1 beats, and the next step is to do the arrangement, which honestly isn't really that hard for me. I kind of do the arrangement on the fly, especially working inside of the MPC. That's why I absolutely love it. And that's kind of one of the more enjoyable parts of the beat making process, honestly. It kind of sucks that sometimes it's not really the thing that you spend the most amount of time doing. But I'll set that to the side for now. Just keep in mind arrangement. But there's also the engineering that can also be a lot of fun. And the engineering aspect I'm going to be conducting inside of Reaper. Now, I also wanted to make note inside of this live stream here that Reaper is a new DAW for me. I'm not used to working in Reaper. I'm still on the technical 60-day trial, which I will be purchasing after. But this will be whatever beat I pick will end up being the first song that I finish or even start or do inside of Reaper. So I'm pretty excited about that. Very quickly, I want to show you here that I do have another controller in front of me. My camera doesn't reach super far, but I have this APC 40. And that has a whole bunch of controls and faders, and I have mapped everything to control Reaper itself. So you might hear the beat cut in and out at some point. You probably won't be able to see this. Maybe if I let's pull up the mixer. No, that's not how you do it. Say Shift M. There we go, the mixer. So I'm controlling this track currently with a fader, and you can see that the fader moves up and down. So that is an example of how I can control Reaper physically. If you want to know more about that process, then there's another reason to hit that follow button and all that stuff. Basically connect with me. You're going to be able to I'm going to end up doing a video of how I mapped my controller to control everything, but also kind of the philosophy behind why I mapped it in the way that I did and the restrictions that I place on my productions and why. So if you're into music at all, I think that the content I make is at least worthwhile to you'll pull bits and little bits and pieces, as they say, and be able to apply that to your own productions. Okay, that's enough rambling for beat number 3. So now we're moving on to beat number 4. And we have a whole bunch of sequences again. So I'm going to start with the minimal beat sequence and go from there. This one is called 95 Gala. It might be, I think this is the one that is my personal favorite, but is it the one that I'm going to pick to release? Let's find out.
I got a taste for believing, embrace everything. For believing, embrace everything.
Cool. This beat isn't really structured like the rest of the beats that I've made inside the MPC. This beat is all contained within one program. So let's go to, there we go, sequence or track number 1. So on pad bank A, I have my drum sounds. Pad bank B, I have different other sounds that I resampled. If I end up choosing this beat to finish, I think I'll end up going back and showing kind of how I ended up where I did, because this is one of the first times that I have played sounds like you heard with these pads. I basically played those chords without having music. I don't play instruments, right? So I just kind of dabbled that in, but then I resampled that as audio and then chopped it up to be the chops that I have. Very quickly, I'm realizing how I can get around this. So most of the time, I don't take everything and put it into one program on here and then have different sounds on different pad banks as I was trying to describe. Most of the time what I do is have different programs for different sounds, and then I take those programs, put them one each to a track, and I can easily just go into my track mutes and mute tracks here and there. But because everything is all on one track, now I've almost lost that functionality, but I'm just realizing now how I can do it. So I'm just going to hook up a pad group for my drums because it's super quick and easy. So I'm going to select my drums, and we're going to assign all of these to mute group 1. So now if I come back into my pad mutes, if I mute any one of those pads, it mutes the whole group. It'll be hard for this to translate on camera, but I can give an audio demonstration of what that'll sound like. It'll sound something like this. So just like that, with the press of a pad, I can mute my drums. And I can do that in time live. So I will come back before I track this in. I'll end up finishing that, giving me the options of taking sound out whenever I want and being able to put that back in. Hopefully that makes sense to you. If it doesn't, sorry for wasting your time, but then again, you can always skip ahead using those chapters. Fingers crossed that actually works. I don't edit any of my videos. I do everything live to YouTube, at least for the time being, because I just don't have the resources and I just don't have the time to be editing videos. So you get what you get, sort of thing. If this is not your style, I totally get it, but please leave me some feedback on how I can make this better, more entertaining for you to stick around and to watch. Probably not ramble so much, but here we go. Beat number 5. We're gonna load up right now. Yeah, so I know I ramble, but I mean, some people will pick up little things here and there and learn. So hopefully it's not a complete waste of your time. Here's beat number 5, titled 90, The Rebirth. We have a couple different sequences here, and we're just going to start with rhythm 1. Wow, that comes in hot. So we're going to take out this, we're going to take out this, and this, and this. And I want to find out where that's not a synth. I need to rename this because that's actually a bass. Perfect. So that's good. I understand what's happening there. So we're going to mute the bass, bring those strings back in. And that's a better start to the beat. Bring in some chords. Next rhythm. Mute the bass. Back to rhythm 1. Awesome. We're going to copy events from alternate to there. And we're going to say track 8 to track 8. Merge. We'll do that again. There to there. Track 8. There. All right, cool. So what was going through my head right now is just that this kind of sounds incomplete, but not really. The concept, the idea is there, so that's why it's a beat that's on the option to finish. Part of what I was thinking when I was making this about the drums is that I'm going to use that as kind of like a backdrop to play the drums live. I'm going to layer in a new drum kit, and once the beat is kind of arranged and structured, then I can play in some drums live and kind of have more of a performed feel, a performed element to it. So that's the idea behind this. And yeah, other than that, there's not much else to it. Like I said, pretty mediocre beats in my opinion, even though I'm the one that made them. Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so we have our last beat, beat number 6, and this one's called 95 Off the Top. Dum 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 dum. Vibe 1, vibe 2, intro / break. If I remember correctly, I didn't really like the intro / break, so we're just going to mute the drums on vibe number 1 and we'll start there. I feel like that's like some cool video game esque kind of music, or some like, I could see it in some like abstract style, artsy style movie with compilation style thing. Yeah, it's not like super feel good poppy music. I totally get that. But part of me just absolutely loves that this is a thing that now exists and that I'm the one that made it. And it's just so basic and not really good, but I feel with like proper engineering as well, and maybe a little couple extra sprinkles on top, that'll be a meal that someone wants, more like a dessert, I guess. Yeah, so cool. Those were my 6 beats, and I didn't really plan an ending to this video, so yeah, take it for what it is. That's been a half hour of me playing some recent beats for you, what I call pick six. I am going to pick one of those to finish inside Reaper, so if you want to find out which beat I picked, then definitely subscribe on YouTube and follow, because the next time that I go live on YouTube, it will be tracking that beat into Reaper, getting ready to do the mix, if not actually doing the mix and the engineering for that beat. Thanks for watching. My name is Charles Taylor. Peace.